Coming to you from Forager Brewery in Rochester, our town.
Hi there, welcome to Our Town, the show about Rochester. I'm Jen Koski. You don't have to be a former spelling bee champ to enjoy the fun at the upcoming Rock the Hive event. Adults of all spelling acumen, even if they can't spell acumen, are encouraged to round up a team and support this effort. Here to tell us more today is Sarah Ness. So welcome, Sarah. Thank you so much for coming down to Forager and talk with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so I want to talk about Rock the Hive because I'm a big fan of spelling and spelling bees, but first tell me about the organization that is putting this event on. It's Southeast Service Cooperative.
Yes, we're a service cooperative that offers our members, which consist of local governments, so cities and counties, school districts in southeastern Minnesota, and nonprofits as well. So we provide different services to them.
So what kind of services? I believe you're behind the Young Artists, Young Authors Conference.
Yeah.
I know my son has gone to that.
Yep, so we provide student academic services. We put on that conference. We put on the regional spelling bees, as well as a nature conference and a few others.
So you already have put on spelling bees?
We have, and that's actually where we got the idea. We thought we can do that, so we should try to get some of the community members to come in, their parents, teachers, local businesses, and have a fun, friendly competition.
Okay, so when is this event being held?
It's being held on Saturday, October 1st.
All right, and what will it all entail? Is it different than a student spelling bee?
There's going to be a little twist to it.
Okay.
So to start off the day, we're going to have a fun opening ceremony, and that's going to consist of a few celebrities.
Celebrities.
So some local celebrities from southeastern Minnesota are going to come and compete into some fun word scramble challenges, human dictionary challenges. It's not going to be your typical take on a spelling bee.
So can you tell us who some of these celebrities are?
Sure. So Mayor Ardell Brede from Rochester.
Okay, and he's going to be here with us later in the show.
Well, great. Perfect. We have some representatives from 97.5 as well as from local NAMI and a few others.
Okay. So you have your celebrities. They're opening the event.
Yep.
Okay, and then what is the bulk of this event? What's the spelling bee part?
So the spelling bee part is actually going to be put on like a normal regional spelling bee that we would host for our middle schooler and high schoolers, where we will actually have 2 rounds of competition. But don't worry, if you get out in the first or second round, there are ways that you can win a wild card round and get in for that final spelling spot and a chance to win the traveling trophy.
Now, I've heard you talk about teams. So is this not an individual bee?
It can be both individual or team event. We're accepting individuals up to teams of 4 to participate.
So if you have a team of 4, does that mean you hear the word and then you get to talk among yourselves and decide how it's spelled?
No.
Because that's that's what I want to do.
That's what most people would want to do.
Yeah.
No, you take turns in each round participating.
Okay. And so how much is this event?
This event depends on how big your team is. If you're a single individual, it's $119, and it goes down in $10 increments. So a team of 2 is $109, team of 3 is $99, and a team of 4 is $89 per person.
Okay. And so then there's a spelling bee, there's a celebrities. Is there anything else going on at this event?
Yeah, we will have lots of games. Some food's going to be donated to us from Hive. And so there's going to be a nice little beehive lounge out in the front that you can enjoy. We've had a lot of donations from local organizations all around southeastern Minnesota, as well as the Twin Cities area donate.
And these donations are for prizes?
Prizes, yep.
Okay.
So you can come, win some free hotel stays, some gift cards to Mall of America. Local restaurants are participating, so it should be a fun event.
Do you have to win the event to get a prize?
No, you do not.
So there's all different categories and ways to win the event.
Right.
So can you give us some hints of what some of these words are going to be?
I cannot.
You
That
cannot.
is top secret.
It is?
Yes.
So we looked at what some of the words were for past spelling bees, so the National Spelling Bee. The winning word in 1925 was gladiolus. Do you have any idea how that might be spelled?
I have an idea. It's not always right, though.
And the winning word last year was, and I may be butchering the spelling of this, Gesellschaft was the winning word for the 2016 spelling bee. So maybe that one will be in your spelling bee.
You never know.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us. It sounds like a fun event. I know one of our own celebrities, Eric Olson, is going to be emceeing.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
All right, well, then we will be there.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our Town is brought to you in part by the following amazing people and organizations.
Prow Company, a hands-on commercial property leasing company, leasing commercial properties in Rochester, Minnesota since 1952. Realtors and brokers welcome. Prow Company. The University of Minnesota Rochester, an undergraduate health sciences university offering education designed to change tomorrow's healthcare. University of Minnesota Rochester, always in the heart of our community. Clements Subaru, proudly partners with award-winning KSMQ Public Television. Clements Subaru of Rochester. Clements' clear value promise is to make buying a car fast, fair, and simple. The Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, and the citizens of Minnesota.
And the members of KSMQ Public Television. Thank you.
Spelling was one of my favorite subjects in school. Now, coming up on Our Town, Alicia Somas takes a ride around town in a pedicab. We get a peek at the old Central School, which is a fine example of architecture from the 1860s. Sadly, it was torn down in 1950. And Mayor Ardell Brede is here. We're going to find out what's up with the old Armory building. Up next, we check out the latest exhibits at the Rochester Art Center on Our Town Culture.
I'm Megan Johnson, the Executive Director of the Rochester Art Center. The goal of the Rochester Art Center is to engage people in creativity in various different ways, various different mediums, and various different levels. We really want to become a central hub for creativity and developing creativity in Rochester. So we encourage all kinds of creativity, from engineers who are thinking out plans and ideas in our makerspace to artists showcasing their work on the walls. We have family days, we have classes and workshops, master classes, lectures with scholars in the field and practitioners, both local and national. Well, this year, Rochester Art Center is 70 years old. We've served more than 1 million people over that period of time, and we're really pleased to be announcing our 70th anniversary. It's all about developing creativity locally, but also being recognized nationally for the work that we do. There are very few institutions in the country that are 70 years old. And this institution really has been based in a grassroots connected community for more than 70 years. So we have a series of different events, more than 70 events to celebrate that 70th anniversary. We had a huge birthday party in June with over 1,000 people. And this autumn with our Art Bash, our annual fundraiser, we're also celebrating that 70 years with an honorary Lifetime Achievement Award to Judy Onofrio, a local artist who's exhibiting now. Well, I like to say I'll do everything, includes sweep the floors. But an art center director really, in this case, really helps guide the vision and the strategy for the art center. And I was appointed about 10 months ago, and one of the key initiatives around the new vision is to really embrace be a community-facing organization. And that means that we believe the work that we do inside is just as important as the work that we do outside, and vice versa. So being community-centered means that we're rooted locally, but we think globally. Well, the best part about the job, it's really two things. One is working with artists and seeing their work develop, and I really love artists and the way that they think and think outside of the box. The second thing is and luckily we don't hear it now, but the other thing that I love the most is hearing school kids come through. This summer we had almost 2,000 young people through the doors with YMCA and Boys and Girls Club and our own summer school. And seeing young people turned on to contemporary art, that's probably the most fun. Artists love the space. It is a beautiful space to show artwork. I think too, though, that local artists have not felt that this has been the best home for them. They've not always felt welcomed, and we've really made a demonstrative shift to open our doors up to local artists, regional artists, and engage in a local discussion, regional discussion, as well as a national and international. And I think finding this place as relevant for artists is a big deal to me. We want to make this relevant for artists, for our community, and for our visitors. You know, most museums now recognize that you have to do more than just put art up on a wall. You have to engage in the ideas. And so we know that by working together, we're going to do a lot more than we could at ourselves individually. And why not? This is a space. Rochester Art Center is really a space for everyone. It's not for a select few. It's not only for artists. It's for everyone in the community. And I think the more that we feel like we can open up the space for anybody to find their own creativity, the better we'll be.
Our Town. It's all about you, Rochester. Send us your best ideas for the show. Rochester at ksmq.org.
The Rochester Convention and Visitors Bureau released some impressive numbers this week. There were 3 million visitors to Rochester in 2015, and they spent $465 million. The majority of those folks were in town for Mayo Clinic, of course, but the convention, sports, and business categories are growing too. These are good news for our hospitality industry. In other economic news, the Rochester Area Chamber of Commerce is gearing up to host its Southeast Minnesota Economic Summit on September 13th. Keynote speakers and distinguished panelists will examine our regional economy and make some predictions for 2017. Tickets and more information on that can be found at rochestermnchamber.com. Maxability, the Southern Minnesota Disability Employment Network, will be hosting a Career Connection job fair and educational event on September 29th. This event will help recruiters connect specifically with individuals with disabilities. The deadline for businesses to register for this event is September 22nd. Check out Maxability's Facebook page for more information. And if you love civic information, have you ever checked out UMR Connects? It's a series of presentations and performances held every Tuesday night. One week you might hear a talk on the history of Prohibition in Rochester, and the next week it might be a presentation on Minnesota state parks. Next week, on September 6th, they have a panel of guests talking about Rochester's projects and expansions. It's free, it's fun, and it's definitely interesting. A complete calendar is available online at r.umn.edu. Now, stay with us as we join Alicia Somaz, who is tooling around town in a pedicab on Our Town Walkabout.
You're here with Our Town Walkabout. I'm Alicia Somaz. Let's get rolling.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Wait, we're at a stoplight. Talking to Miguel, rolling on 26s, and
Woo!
our posse's on Broadway. And this is quite the experience, and I'm enjoying the ride.
Oh, this is the best way to get to know Rochester downtown and the surrounding areas. There's no better way.
There is no better way. 360 view.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful day, and this is Minnesota, so let's enjoy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Late at night, early in the day, you know, any holiday, big games, we get a lot of clientele. Also, we're super close, a block away from the Civic Center, which we get a lot of visitors from too. So we're right in the middle of town.
Pedicabs on Broadway.
When you do this kind of work, you enjoy the seasons, you enjoy the weather, have the wind in your face, and imagine you're working out, you're providing a service, and it's just great.
What type of experience can you uniquely give me?
The other day I gave a ride to a couple. They're being here visiting a family member at the Mayo Clinic, and I asked them, where do you want to go? And they said, well, I don't know, around. And I said, do you want to go down by the river? And they're, what, there's a river here? So they get a chance to experience something unique and so close. So we went on the ride for around the river, go get some ice cream, and they get to experience something else to get their minds, away from their problems.
Well, thank you, Miguel, for showing
Thank
us
you.
Rochester with Smart Ride, Eco Taxi, Pedicab, and it's been a joyous ride with Our Town Walkabout. I'm Alicia Psomas.
Hi there. More in store from our town coming up next. Mayor Ardell Brede is here, and he answers our big question about the old Armory building. Stay tuned.
Our past, remembering what made us who we are today. Brought to you by the History Center of Olmsted County.
When the Central School building opened in 1868, a local newspaper reported that it was considered one of the finest structures in the state and was admired by every visitor. Built at a cost of $70,000, roughly $12 million today, disaster unfortunately haunted this structure. First, it lost its cupola in the 1883 tornado. Second, in the summer of 1893, a fire began in the basement and spread to upper floors with the aid of ventilation flues. Finally, the most devastating disaster struck in September of 1910. Another mysterious fire broke out, this time on the 4th floor. Though firemen responded promptly, insufficient water pressure delayed success. Before it could be extinguished, the roof and bell tower collapsed, allowing the fire to spread to the 3rd floor. The building, though repaired, was never brought back to its full capacity. It remained part of Rochester's fabric, however, as a museum for Mayo Clinic until it was torn down in 1950.
The Rochester City Council, meeting as the Committee of the Whole on August 22nd, reviewed 2 proposals for the future use of the old Armory building in downtown Rochester. After considerable discussion, they decided not to accept either one. A further assessment of the building is being done right now for possible sale consideration. Here to tell us more is Mayor Ardell Brede. Welcome back, Mayor. You have been on the show before.
I have, thank you. Thanks for inviting me back. I must have not done too badly.
So you were we just had a segment about the Rock the Hive. You were one of the celebrities who is coming in.
Yes.
So
I agreed.
Yeah. So my big question is, would you rather spell the 2016 national winning word Gesellschaft or face residents about this non-decision?
Probably neither, but anyway, we'll face the residents.
Right.
I don't think that's a problem.
Okay, so I think this is the big question, right? Why no decision? You have 2 different proposals coming in. Why not choose one of them?
Well, I think, first of all, the Committee of the Whole can't do anything official. So It's going to be coming to a city council meeting where they have to officially then reject both of them, and then we'll go from there. I think what complicated it, first of all, there's both of them require, the ones that officially got in before the deadline, both of them asked for funding to help with it. And I think from one standpoint, with the senior center moving out of there, that we do support and pay utilities, things like that, how much is the city going to be asked to do? And we had some numbers from both of those proposals.
I'm going to stop you for a second. So I think there is some misunderstanding among some people that the senior center actually owned the building.
No, the city owns the building.
Right.
And so how many more buildings can the city of Rochester help subsidize, or organizations?
So these RFPs both came in with proposals saying, but we are going to need city help to continue this.
I think some of that was $80,000 or something per year ongoing. There was some questions of how realistic were the proposals with how many staff were they going to have. It seemed a little light. And then there was another proposal that really came in way after the fact that has potential for state money to come in and help fund that. So I think all of that together became kind of a frustrated point and say, now what do we do? So at the next city council meeting, I believe it's at the next one, it'll be officially then reject both of those. And then the question also came up, or the request, maybe we should get an appraisal on the building and potentially see if there's a buyer out there. There's a feeling that maybe in this initial pass that maybe if there were buyers, they didn't realize that that wasn't even an option, was to buy the building.
So maybe it's more like you're hitting a pause. You're saying, okay, let's not make a decision right now.
Yep.
Let's go back and assess the sale. Let's see about maybe get more information on these other proposals.
Right.
Open it up to more discussion.
Right. And so I think, yes, there may be some buyers out there that say, well, we'd like to take it and turn it into a restaurant, or who knows what.
Right.
So yes, it is a pause, and then we'll move on from there. I'm not sure what the timeline is on getting that appraisal.
Okay, so tell me about the two proposals that were submitted, though. I think people are interested in knowing what was proposed. It was the Rochester Arts and Culture Collaborative.
Correct.
And the Minnesota Veterans and Emergency Services Museum. They
Right.
wanted to create a museum.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what each of these organizations were proposing?
The museum one was one that's been around for really several years already, and unfortunately, they have never had any real funding to support it.
Okay.
So I don't know if they even had a number in there what they would need. I think part of it was they wondered if they could be in a joint contract maybe with the collaborative. Now the collaborative had a number of items pretty well spelled out, but it also, I think theirs was the one that was $80,000 or $90,000 a year. And so again, that expectation from the city to help with that, and then is it, it's off the tax rolls then, and I think the museum thought maybe they could be in partnership with them or use that building together. Well, then also what has kind of complicated a little more, although this is just really the Johnny-come-lately, is that with the Chateau Theater, we had the Miller Dunwitty, which is the architectural firm that's going to look at it. They contracted with an organization that was to do a market analysis. How feasible is it for us to use that as a multi-purpose building, a functional building, theater, whatever?
Right.
They came back and they have some pretty good, they interviewed 74 people here in Rochester, and one of the things that came out of there seemed to be a strong desire that maybe if the collaborative or the arts community, I'll probably make it bigger, could be using the Armory that for different groups, but also somehow be connected. And so in that plan that came out, or not really a plan, but their work said, well, you ought to be suggesting, or at least we suggest that you should look and see what possibility is there to maybe not really partner with them, but let's just say that somebody wants to use the Chateau as a theater, but we don't have room in the theater to build the props and all that. Maybe they could do that over at the Armory and bring it over. So we create an arts district kind of thing.
So that Arts and Culture Collaborative, when they were proposing using it, were they saying as a performance space or as like club room space or meeting space, or do you know what they...
I think it's kind of all of the above. There's some possibility. They could do small theater in there and have places for crafts and things like that. At the same time, if you're doing some of that, the Art Center is doing some of those things too, so you got to look at that and say, well, we don't want to rob Peter to pay Paul, you know, that kind of thing. And of course, that same question comes up even with the with the Chateau. Is that going to take away anything from the Civic Theater? And the plan that came out, or the results from that, said there is a niche in Rochester for a theater that's probably between 500 and 800 seats. And that maybe is about where the Chateau might be in all of this.
It's kind of exciting to think about what might happen at that space as well.
That's right. And so now that the market study was done, that goes to the architectural firm, and they'll now start taking that all into consideration and say, and they expect to have some results back to us within a month, and then more detailed as we go through. So by the end of October, we may have a plan on that one, just what should we do and what's the cost.
So what can you tell me about this third group that came in late? Well, why did they come in late? What did they want to do with it?
I don't know why they came in late. Somebody that works with them had actually mentioned to me, gosh, in the springtime, and said, you know, Rochester's an area that you guys could support an art school, and I don't know all. Now, there is the Purpich Center that's up in...
Do you mean an art school, like a high school?
Could be.
Okay.
This proposal that came in, I think that the grades were maybe from grade 4 to grade 8.
Oh, okay.
And, well, the Purpich Center is up in, I think it's Golden Valley in the cities, and that's a high school. And we have a lot of students from here that actually go up there for their high school. But it's obviously focused on the arts, theater, music, visual art, all of that. So I don't know. This could be one that would probably needs to be looked at in greater detail. And of course, and again, like I said, at the time, the council was looking at it and say, well, gee, now, should we have looked at possible sale of the building? Can we afford to subsidize some more arts group, or not just arts group, but anybody?
Now I have spent some time in this building because I'm actually on the board of the senior center, and so I have had many meetings in there, and it does need updating.
Oh yes, yep. You probably know it better than I, but I've been in there a number of times. That I think you had mentioned earlier that even the kitchen now is kind of not functional anymore. So there could be some, and it is a building that's on the National Historic Register.
So a whole nother level.
That's another whole level that says you probably can do a lot of things inside, but you probably don't want to mess around with the outside as well, the castle as people have come to know it as.
Well, then we know it's not coming down, right?
Well, I would say yes. I hope not. I don't think that's going to be the case.
It's protected.
I don't think the building outside structurally is in that bad a shape.
No, it's a recognizable building. Hopefully we'll find something to do with it. Thank you so much for coming in.
Well, you're welcome. This chapter will continue.
It will.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you for joining us today on Our Town. Just a heads up that September is Pledge Month, so KSMQ will be airing great specials for your enjoyment, and I hope you'll take the time to become a member. Our Town will return on Friday, September 30th with more great guests. We will see you then on Our Town, the show about Rochester.